Hello, my name is Andrew Duca, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about technology. Now, this speech is going to be pretty informal as I have my actual speech right here beside me as notes, but I hope you get something out of it. So, at this school, we have some of the brightest minds. We solve super hard math problems, conduct scientific experiments, write really complicated, amazing essays, and yet when it comes to the tools we use every day, many of us don't really know about how they work or really much about them at all. 2 years ago, I started programming, and typically I stay up till 2 or 3 a.m. coding, hacking away on my three monitors that are upstairs right now. And I truly love technology, and I truly love programming, and the amount of freedom it gives me to really make anything I want. Um, but we all have passions, and I'm guessing most of you probably have different passions than me. So today I wanted to take some time and explain to you some of the most important technological concepts that we use every day, and you may not even know it. So what is the purpose of this speech? It's not like a typical speech. I'm not gonna make an argument and then fortify it with evidence. I'm going to just share some really cool concepts with you, and I hope that at the end you're more interested in the technology that you interact with every day and maybe want to learn more about it. And that's really important for maintaining internet security and a lot of really great things, and just being a more knowledgeable, aware person. So that's what I hope you get out of this talk. So with that, I'm just going to jump right into it. We're going to cover a few concepts such as the HTTP request, cookies, Netflix streaming, and we're going to inspect some web pages, and it's going to be pretty fun. And if it's not, I'm sorry, but we're just going to get right to it. So I want to first talk about the HTTP request, which you're going to see. I have a picture right here on my screen. And so it's not really important that we understand how it actually works. If you're interested, you can of course ask me or talk to anyone else who is interested in the internet. But the HTTP request really allows you to exchange data with the server. So you are going to receive and transmit data to and from a server. And so that's really what it is. And it's a set of rules that lets you do that. So there's a header, there's all of these details, but it's not super important that you understand how they work. But what is really important is that you understand the concept of HTTPS a little bit, because this is secure HTTP. Now, what does that mean? That means that all the data that you send is encoded, which is important. But why is that important, you may ask? So if I want to send the message hello to someone, I don't know, let's say I'm trying to send the message hello to Ian Cohen, and I encode it so that it becomes 1235 AB or something like that. 1235 AB. That's too many letters, but whatever. If someone intercepts that in the middle and they see that, they're like, I don't know what this is. They're not going to know that's hello. And that's the whole concept. And what the internet, not the internet, but what people actually use is called RSA encryption, and it's part of the SSL, HTTPS. All of these are really synonymous, but it's security, it's encryption. So they use the RSA encryption, which is you learn about in discrete mathematics, but it's basically people are going to have a really hard time hacking that. And so why is this important? When you send passwords over the internet, when you send, sorry, that's my parrot, when you send credit card details over the internet, anything of that nature, you don't want people being able to hack that and tampering with that request and stealing your data. So that's why it's important. So if you ever are on a website and you don't see this HTTPS right here, and they want you to put a password in, a credit card, or anything that you deem as sensitive information, do not put stuff into that website. So that's a really important thing for internet security and for you to stay safe. The next thing I want to cover, look at my notes here, is cookies, because we're taught in elementary school, or at least at Pacific Ridge, that cookies are this bad thing. Cookies they track us. They let companies, let me move my camera back a little bit. They let companies, track what we're doing and offer us better ads, and the cookies are bad, blah, 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 blah. At least that's what I was taught when I was in 8th grade. But that's actually not true at all. So cookies can have, not malicious, but other motives behind them, why you would put a cookie. But cookies are important for something that you use every time that you're on a website, at least one that you interact with often. The concept of logging in, it does not exist without a cookie. And so I don't think a lot of people understand that, and why cookies are so important and why they're not bad things. And when you're on a school computer and it says, the browser can't store any more cookies, it's because too many people have their cookies stored on the computer. So what is a cookie? I'm going to go here. This is the site that I really love, called Quora. They have lots of cool topics that you can look at. It's almost like a Yahoo Answers, but a little more formal. It's pretty awesome, though. So I'm logged in here. When I log in, the server, which you can kind of see in this right here, there's a client and there's a server. The server sends me back a cookie or an ID, and then every time I make a subsequent request, it sends that cookie. And then the server goes, oh, wait, okay, this cookie, this belongs to Andrew. Andrew's good, he's logged in, he can post, he can do all this stuff. So if that what didn't exist, if you couldn't get a cookie back, you would have to relog in anytime you wanted to do anything. So if you wanted to make a YouTube comment, if you wanted to post a YouTube video, every single time you did that, you'd have to relog in. There would never be a concept of being logged in. So cookies are really important because they make it so that you don't have to relog in upon every single request you make, everything you do on the website. So they're really important concept, and cookies have expiration dates, so they expire X amount of times, you have to relog in. But I think just the concept of understanding that cookies are actually really important, especially for being logged into a website, is important because we log into tons of websites and we interact with them all the time. If you go up to here and you click this right here and you go into the cookies, sorry I have this open, by the way. I was just doing some stuff with Amazon, but you don't have to actually look at that. So we go in here, so we see all these cookies that Quora has. They have all these cookies. Somewhere in here there's a logged in one. There's other ones too that store various data, or it stores it on the server, but they send the cookie so they know that they can hook stuff up basically. I'm not going to go into that too much, but they store a lot of cool stuff. Facebook has one here, but so they store information and they're really useful for basically you send the server sends you something back. So they're really useful for that. And so being logged in, it's really depends on the cookie. So that's cookie. So HTTPS, security, cookie, something we use every time we go into a website. Now let's talk about an awesome site that I'm sure many of you use called Netflix. So I myself use it all the time. I go on my girlfriend's Netflix account to watch various videos. But at school, we're told that we shouldn't watch videos. Lily's over there. But at school, we're told we shouldn't watch videos because it streams a lot of data. But I want to show you what this actually means because I think it's interesting and maybe you'll understand why you shouldn't watch videos at school. So we're going to go here. We're going to go to the New York Times. Great website. I feel like a lot of people at Pacific Ridge do it because we're very informed. We're fantastic. So let's go into the sources here. No, not the sources, the network. Okay, so probably doesn't make any sense to you. Don't look at any of this. It doesn't really matter. These are all HTTP requests, but we're not going to go into that much. Can I make this smaller? Let me make this a little bigger. Let's make this a little. Can I get rid of this stuff? I don't want this stuff. Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm going to refresh the page. I want you to keep an eye on this right here. Number of requests and the amount of data transferred. So we got like 1.9 megabytes, 2 megabytes, blah, 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 blah. In a byte, a bit is a 0 or a 1. And there are 8 bits in a byte. This stuff isn't really that important. And there are lots of bytes in a megabyte. So this is, hundreds of millions probably. Don't check my math on that. I probably just do it out. 1,000, 1,000, it's a lot of zeros and ones. Probably millions and millions of zeros and ones, okay? That's what this is. So that's being transferred over the wire, which is pretty incredible. But so 2.5 megabytes, that's a decent amount of data, but it was pretty fast. How many seconds? 38. It's doing some other stuff, but most of the data probably loads in the first few seconds, a second or two. We got 2 seconds, we have most of the website. So 1.7 megabytes, that's cool. Now let's see what it is on Netflix, because that is going to show you how much data Netflix requires. And it's the same with YouTube when you're watching YouTube videos. So maybe at school you shouldn't do this. Let's go into a good show here. I really like How I Met Your Mother, so I'm going to find that one. Okay. Actually, no. We're going to go back. Okay. I'm going to inspect this web page. This is really cool. Google Chrome has some amazing developer tools, but this is not a programming thing, so it's going to show you some cool stuff. So we got 1.9 megabytes transferred. That's cool. I'm going to click this video, and I want you guys to look at the number of megabytes transferred right here. Click the video. There we go. You're going to see it's going to go crazy. It's going to keep going and going and going, and it will probably reach hundreds, and as you keep watching more, it will just keep going and going. We're already at 40 megabytes. We're going to keep going. Let's fast forward a little bit. 40 to 50. It's just going and going and going. This is probably lagging for me. I'm going to stop doing this. Wait a second. Let's close this. So 78 megabytes like that. That's a lot of data. So when you're at school, you probably don't want to be watching Netflix or YouTube because you are slowing down the internet for everyone because, we can only transfer so much data over the wire through the router. So there's that. That's why people tell you shouldn't watch Netflix at school. So I hope this was somewhat informative. I'm going to cut it short. I feel like there's some interesting concepts. We have HTTPS, web security, cookies, being logged in, and Netflix and actually streaming data and what that looks like, as you can see right here, 78 megabytes, wow. So, in summary, that's what we did. Um, and on a quick self-promotion note, I love the program. I do a lot of programming projects, and recently I've been working on a fantastic one called Pencil Pay. You can check out the website if you want. It's .pencilpay.com. Check it out. It's a fundraising platform for school groups. Um, Little self-promotion. So you can basically sell stuff online. It's super cool. In the next weeks, you're going to be having the opportunity to buy some stuff on there. So please check it out if you want. But I digress. Sorry for the self-promotion note. So I'm assuming a decent amount of you are either really interested about these topics, you're like, oh, I want to learn more, or some of you are probably like, oh, this is really boring and I don't really like that. And for those of you, I'm sorry. But I hope from all of this that you kind of learn a little bit more about the tools we use every day and are a little more curious. So whenever you get, an error or a bug, or when you're looking on the internet, maybe you try to look into something and learn something new about this tool that we use every day because it's fantastic. Because if we all do this, it really makes the internet more secure. And it makes everyone feel safer once you know the pieces of the puzzle. So it's extremely important, web security, and I hope you learned some of that from this talk and really know how important it is and are perhaps interested and want to learn even more. So I hope today was just the beginning, and thank you for listening to this speech. I believe it's probably not live, so it's a video. So thank you.